Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. So today we're talking about budget cuts that could be coming for a program that helps build housing in the city and another crackdown on expired license plates, plus my rant on local businesses using AI. Green Chili correspondent Justine Sandoval, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to see you. This is so nice. But let's start with this ADU story. And I should be clear, if you're not familiar with ADUs or accessory dwelling units, these are granny flats. They're also known as, you may see them actually, they exist in sort of a natural form in parts of Capitol Hill, especially as carriage houses. People converting a garage into a second unit. So Westward reported Denver's ADU program might be in jeopardy. Sage Kelly at Westward reported that the 5-year pilot program that was launched in 2021, which basically helped regular Denverites build ADUs on their property and give them help in the form of funding, permitting support, and design plans, maybe losing some of that remaining funding that exists for the program. I'm going to give a little TLDR background on this program. It's called the SF Plus program, aka the Single Family Plus ADU program, which began actually in 2019 in my neck of the woods over here in West Denver and the southwest side of the city. So DHA, the Denver Housing Authority, along with the West Denver Renaissance Collaborative and Habitat for Humanity, was running this program that offered blueprints, support through the crazy permitting process of getting something built, and money to build more housing on your existing property just as a regular old homeowner. And the program actually expanded across the city out of my neighborhood in 2024 when City Council signed off on a change in zoning laws and ADUs became more accessible by being legal to build in every neighborhood. Justine, I have to ask, you're an East Sider and a North Sider. Do you have ADUs where you live?
So I have not seen any new ones in my neighborhood specifically pop up. I'm kind of in a weird zoning area where like Rhino meets Five Points meets Curtis Park. But in North Denver, where I grew up, there's a lot of the ADUs that had started to get built in the Sunnyside neighborhood, I believe. And Those were some of those projects that started taking off. But I mean, I love this program. I love the idea of ADUs. These are the type of solutions that we actually need that help solve many issues. One is helping people age in place, helping fight the effects of gentrification so people can actually stay in their communities. And it creates affordable transition housing for people until they move on to their next step in their housing journey in life.
Yeah. And I should say to the point you're making right now, part of this program is if you went through the program to get your ADU built, you also were required to rent it for, I think, a period of 5 years under market so that it was like financially accessible to someone who was looking for a place. And I'm with you too. I think the thing that I was working in planning when this program came to be. So I was really sort of in the weeds of it all. So they weren't new to Denver, but they were kind of hard to build because the permitting process, anytime you have to go before the zoning board to make a change, it just makes things longer. And the part of this program was helping you through this process and just making them, you were already zoned for it. But what I loved about it was when I actually had thought of something similar to this before they launched it. My dream was a fund of some kind provided by the city to create these as an incentive to get people to build them. Because my thought is like, okay, are you grumpy about a 4-story apartment building going into your neighborhood? Well, what if, I don't know, 4 or 5 houses on every block for a 5-block radius had an ADU instead? And you could create, 25 or 30 units of housing on existing property. And this would be under sort of the jurisdiction of the homeowners themselves versus, say, a developer. And I don't want to undermine the fact that we still need apartments. They are still accessible, sometimes in ways that single family homes are not accessible, especially for folks with disabilities. But also, like, some people just they like apartment living and we still need it. But what I loved about this was it kind of put it in the hands of homeowners, people like you and me.
Absolutely. As a homeowner too, there's been a lot of restrictions on what, you can do with your dwelling, but I have like literally a hotel that went up behind my house. And then I have like big apartment buildings. And it's like give like people, regular people, a chance to also provide housing and supplement part of their income, to
Yeah.
pay for this and have that extra unit. It makes so much sense. Like my brother lives at home with my parents in North Denver. He My brother has autism and he's going to live with them, but they would love to be able to build a unit for him to have that independence. He works
Yeah.
full time, and be able to afford a place of his own, and eventually not and be able to stay in the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood he's grown up in. He knows the bus route. Like it's comfortable for him,
Keeps
and
his
more people should have the
routine,
opportunity. Yeah,
but gives him the independence.
exactly.
And your parents have that peace of mind that he's not that far away, you know?
Exactly. And I think, yeah, that's a great opportunity for so many families who are in that similar situation.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, because actually last weekend I went and I was like poking around an open house in my neighborhood because it's like my brother's looking for a house and they need a 3 bedroom because they're having a second baby any day.
Oh,
And I know I can't wait. I'm so excited. But like he needs a house with 3 bedrooms and a yard. And there was one a couple blocks from my house, and I was like, I'm just gonna go check it out and see. It was gorgeous, Justine. It was beautifully redone. It wasn't super, it wasn't like super flipper tacky or anything. It had 3 bedrooms, it had 2 bathrooms, it had a yard. It was $600,000
I'm
in
always looking at
Barnum.
homes in your neighborhood because they're done. So many of them are so cute right now that they've
Yes.
fixed up.
But $600,000 for Barnum, like this is also the median house price in Colorado right now, which Westward reported is 54% above the national median. So
Yeah.
how does a postal worker and someone who works in healthcare buy their first home if one of the neighborhoods with more affordable housing still has houses for $600,000?
Yeah.
This is one
It's
of those
out of your reach.
solutions, you know?
Yes. We just need more housing supply across the board, whether it's these too many ADU units, or,
Yeah,
we need more condos being built in Denver too that are
totally.
affordable for people that don't have this gigantic price tag.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but we need just more options across the board. So any funding cuts that stop us from having there, anything that delays that is just it's making it harder every day for people to just afford to live. We
Yeah.
also have a cut in transportation. So if people can't live in the city they're working in, you push lower income workers further and further out of the city. And we have another issue of transportation.
And this is one of those proposed solutions that, the program was moving relatively slowly compared to, like I said, I don't want to undermine the fact that we still need apartment buildings and we still need condos and
Mhm.
townhouses and these other more affordable forms of housing, but it was like making a dent, right? And so I do want to talk a little bit about what is being proposed right now. So the Denver Housing Authority, which oversees HOST, aka the Department of Housing Stability, first recommended removing 2/3 of the remaining money set aside in this pilot program, meaning they were talking about cutting about $600,000 of the $890,000 still in the program. They've whittled that cut down from 600,000 to 250,000, which would currently just impact about 3 applicants who are on the early stages of this ADU process at the moment. But this also means that the program could no longer take applicants for 2027 in the first part of 2027 if the budget does get cut. And Westward reported that the groups running this program will have to apply to get more funding next year, which could stop things from moving forward for more than 100 people who are sort of in the queue to get started. Again, they've cut it down to just $250,000 being taken out, but it's just one of those things when we look at the bigger picture of the budget cuts that affects a small amount of people, but affects a program that maybe has less potential to grow now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it seems like this is going to be the case for so many programs when we're facing a deficit at the city level, we're facing a statewide deficit. So money is not coming into a lot of programs. So I think until we figure out some of these things, so many people are just going to be on hold. And it's so unfortunate right now. And I think that's the biggest thing is we have the ideas and the solutions to make the progress we need, but we are in a financial situation where it's just our hopes and dreams are on hold. And it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, and like, there's I think something that you've spoken to about who would be using these ADUs is it's such an across the spectrum issue, right?
Hmm.
Is it's not just like are we lacking housing units? Are we lacking the type of housing units that would benefit families in different ways? You have an older parent who's, maybe either needs to move out of their too big house or is looking for more affordable housing that could move into the ADU behind you so you could watch over your mom or, your son with disabilities or a small growing family. Because that's the thing is
Hmm.
I remember looking at the initial blueprint options that they offered through Habitat for Humanity. So if you went through this program, they had a couple pre-selected options. And what I loved about the profile in Westward that Sage Kelly did of one family going through this was they were like, we looked into doing this ourselves. And what was so cool was this program provided the blueprints, but also the tiles already picked out, like the carpet's done. It's all, you don't have to make any of those tedious decisions that would make this such a longer process. And the blueprints come in everything from like single family or single, I'm sorry, single bedroom to studio units to 3 bedrooms. Like
Yeah.
you could technically build a 3 bedroom house in the backyard of your house.
Well, I've seen them. They even have a garage, so you could zone to build a garage, and then you have an apartment on top, and then boom, winter. Well, we don't have winter anymore, unfortunately.
I know, rest in peace,
God,
winter.
I don't even want to joke anymore because it's actually really
I
horrible.
know, it's super depressing.
But yeah, there you go. Then you've increased your property value.
Yeah, and
Ah,
like, and maybe you've created a whole other housing unit that in 5 years after renting it below market, you could sell it to your renter or put it on the market. Like, and again, that unit is probably going to be inherently more affordable because it's maybe smaller than the other units in your neighborhood. So it's that entry point or that long-term house for somebody who wants to stay. Because like I think about this I grew up in Virginia Village. I love that neighborhood. I couldn't afford when I was buying a house in 2018. I couldn't afford to live there now. There's $1 million house on the block I grew up on.
wow, I
Okay.
know.
It's so bizarre, just
It is the weirdest thing ever. I'm just like a
so we
million.
can't afford unless we have, like you've shared this story. I read the recent story in the Denver Post where you're talking about the home that you have in your family and what it means to you. And like it would be so cool to be able to create that in our own lifetimes to start that, that house that could be in our family for for generations to come.
Yeah, I mean, and people deserve that right to their property to, you know, do what they need to do because it's theirs and they have families and, things
You
that they need
know?
to do. So I really strongly believe in that. I was
Yeah.
laughing at this article because it said that the market value, like the below market value, was about $1,200. And I was like, oh, because I thought I was charging my tenant a lot of to rent. And I was like,
For the
oh,
rents on
yeah.
the ADUs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I am charging exactly the fair price.
You
So,
You've already got that
already doing
naturally
my job.
affordable and affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Well, we'd love to hear from you or your listeners. Are you someone that has an ADU? Are you someone that has wanted to do it? Are you someone that's been through this process? I'm so curious how it has worked for folks. Give us a call, 720-500-5418. Tell us your ADU story. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I am very upset about AI flyers. So we're back. AI is creeping up in places that I have to say I didn't quite expect. So last month, right before I went on vacation, I saw this flyer pop up. I don't know if I'm going to name the place because well, you know what? I will. I love them. The Bluebird District. I love you guys. This is a business improvement district along Colfax by the Bluebird Theater and in that neighborhood. They do amazing stuff. This flyer itself was for an event called the Colfax Wander that was all local business centered. And it was an AI generated flyer. Justine, you saw this thing. I sent
I
it to you.
saw it.
What
Yeah.
are your thoughts and feelings on this type of art? I
Okay.
guess.
The AI flyer epidemic is like going crazy. And I feel like I'll forgive some groups, like nonprofit orgs and like certain groups because and certain nonprofits because you don't have a budget and you're trying to make a flyer and get information out that might be for something like really important that people need to know about. But If you're a business, if you're an art district, a business district, especially like in Denver, like read the room. You know,
Yeah.
you you are
This
representing
is
artists.
support local businesses. Like
Yes,
on this
entrepreneurs,
is the flyer's
creatives.
point.
So I believe if that's what you're in, if that's your business, you need to be supporting those people.
Yeah.
And if you're in that space, there's not a shortage of artists around you to help create a flyer like that. So it's like,
Yes, I'm thinking of an exact example of this, which is the Harvey Park Farmers Market that just started this summer. They hired Yams World, the artist, the amazing artist, to make a poster for them that they're now selling, like a limited edition version. Did that cost them money? Of course it did. They're paying an artist to make something. But
yeah.
that image that he created is so beautiful. And like, I understand every flyer, that's not the purpose. Like you said, nonprofits need these. And like, this is just to get information out. Now that I'm in the public school world, I'm seeing how much AI is used everywhere for all kinds of like announcements. But I have to
Mhm.
push back a little bit and say, like, I think that it's still something that is accessible that folks can do through Canva,
Yeah.
through. I mean, I will take that was so many of the comments I would see in these conversations because also like Bastion shared an AI uh like photo of food and my friend Cassie on Facebook was like, Bastion's, you're better than this. I love you. Please don't do this. And like again, it's a small business. Margins are tight for sure, but like I love a handmade flyer. I love a
Same.
pixelated image. I love a clip art covered thing that someone's retired nana who's the secretary of their, whatever group makes. I think that to me is like it's sending a different message. I think that's maybe what I want to get at here is the AI flyer sent me a message like a subtext about the Bluebird district that kind of bummed me out because I really love what they do, but I'm like, why? You guys have made so many good flyers, I'm sure. Do
Yeah.
we have to do we have to go this route? Do we have to go
Yeah.
this route? I don't
It
know.
does. There's a laziness to it almost of just like the slap, just slap it together and throw it out there.
Yeah, it's not like it's that good. I mean, also like literally just write it on a post-it and share it. I would prefer that. And I'm a person that used to make flyers for my band. Again, I didn't get paid to do that. It was part of the project of being in a band. Um, but I loved doing it. And I know it's not always like a labor of love to make one, but the message that you're sending to some folks, I mean, some folks probably think it's fine. I think I was surprised by this coming from an organization that is so rooted in local businesses and like you said that are art centered or music centered. This is a district of local businesses.
Well, I was am surprised by a lot of organizations, and I won't name names, but I have seen some people that I'm really surprised decided to use an AI flyer, like considering their messaging or considering, you know, the things they talk about online, and then boom, there's the AI flyer. So I've been surprised by a lot of that. I think that now there is an opportunity because we're so saturated with these AI flyers that creativity will stand out more. And people who
Yes.
do like a hand drawn flyer, or even if it's just text on a piece of paper from a Word document, it's going to be more appealing. I've heard that from people doing hiring and jobs that if they're looking at your cover letter resume, it's too perfect. They know for sure that you've like generated it with AI. So they're looking for mistakes. So I've heard like business recruiters saying to add mistakes now. I just think that's
Oh my God.
such a bizarre thing. I'm like, but what if you're really good at writing and you didn't have any mistakes?
Right. I know that was like one of the early on things with ChatGPT was like the M dash
Oh yeah.
was a sign that it was AI created. And like I worked for the AV club here in Denver when the Onion had an outpost here. And famously, they use M dashes, or at least that's where I learned how to use them as a writer. And so I use them a lot. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
good. My writing's going to get clocked as ChatGPT.
So many of my friends who a journalist or know
Yeah.
what that is. I had no idea because I'm dumb. I'm like, what the hell is it using this dash?
I know. So it's like, but like, Yeah, I just one real quick thing I do want to do, and I'll share a link to this in the show notes. But so the flyer says Bluebird District Wanderer, enjoy shopping, drinks, music, and prizes. But then there's this image of a woman with like an Instagram face, and then she's an illustration, and then she has this insane side braid that looks like a challah bread. It doesn't even look like a braid. It's so massive, and she's wearing like 5 necklaces. There's just like there's just so much weird. It's like I don't know how I'm still trying to articulate the experience of looking at one of these flyers and what it looks like. It's like kind of shaded in weird ways, and there's like a cowboy boot and a little ticket stub and the bluebird, obviously, that everybody knows from the bluebird sign, and stars and lightning bolts, and like there's just something about it it just feels off to me when I see something like this.
It's like the uncanny valley
Yes.
type thing. Yeah. And I look like every time have you tried to like generate a flyer, I see it. I'm like, this looks weird. AF, like I'm on acid or something every time. And I'm like, okay, no. And I've never used it because of that. Because it's like, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's creepy. It's like Star Wars before they figured out how to do the CGI right.
Which is also like a form of nostalgia that we look to now and we're like, oh, I enjoy that
Yeah.
weird like version of like 3D animation at that time or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, something about it. And this isn't even getting into the data center conversation and the use of AI and like the actual use of AI, which is a whole other story. But this is something that communities are also talking about all the time. But yeah, I don't. There's
Yeah,
so
that
much to think
backlash is
about.
scary alone. I'd like businesses doing it. I'm like, because every time I see an obvious AI flyer, the comments are like, thanks for wasting all of our water. And, we're in a drought. They're talking about turning off all the sprinklers for
Right.
everyone and everything. Like, it's not a time to be putting that target on yourself with an AI flyer. People are going to be mad at you when there's no water.
Truly. Well, I'd also love to hear from artists. Are you someone that used to make flyers more often and maybe you're getting asked less to do it? Is this something that has impacted your work? Maybe you're a business that has used one and I would love to hear why you did. I mean, maybe there's a component of this I'm missing because I'm not a business owner, but give us a call 720-500-5418. Let us know your thoughts on AI flyers. We're going to take one more quick break and when we come back, we're talking about expired license plates. Okay, this is a quick little PSA, especially for folks who drive around with expired license plates. Denver police have officially started an enforcement period this week for ticketing folks with expired tags. This has been an ongoing conversation that folks in the city have been having. You and I have had it. This is the 6th targeted enforcement period since 2024, when Denver implemented the new policy where they would stop pulling folks over for small, minor things like taillights out, expired tags and such. And that obviously, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say obviously, but that was in an effort to stop pulling folks over for low offenses, which often end up targeting folks of color and folks from marginalized communities. The expired registration is a $95 fine, if you were wondering. And since 2024, officers have issued nearly 2,600 citations for expired registration. What do you think about this latest crackdown, Justine, as a person has been known to ride dirty with those
Wow, I got
expired
pulled over
tags?
twice during the last crackdown. So they will pull you over.
Really?
They got pulled over twice, but I was in the long process that
Sure.
I shared with listeners before. So I had all the paperwork with me, like showing that they were like, oh, okay, like you're on it. You are obviously on it. So I got a warning and I was able to get it like within that week that they were doing it. But they are serious. The other thing is they will ticket you. They like ramp up the ticketing just if you're parked. So when they come around too, they will get you for that. You said 95, I swear it was 100, but they might have dropped it. Like give everyone a little
Make
break.
it a little affordable, which actually this conversation's reminded me I have a parking ticket I need to pay.
Oh my gosh. I got new because I had to wait so long and it was such a process, I had to get new plates. So I got clean. I was like, these plates have no tickets on it yet. So I will see how long I can.
It's a brand new you. It's a brand
And they
new
brought
you.
back the ticket disputes online with the city of
Yes.
Denver. So things
So
are
you
turning
can
around a little bit. But
there's some access point for folks who do if you do need to dispute a ticket, you can actually do that again now.
yes, but my word of advice to everybody right now, Westward was very kind to go through and give you the details if
Yes.
you were in this situation of what you need to do and where you need to go. And I will just warn you from my experience, you need to take your patients to the DMV because you will be there for 3 to 4 hours. Make sure you bring your phone charger and your will to live, and you will get
Yes.
through it. So.
And I'll put a link in the show notes to that article from Katie Cheshire when she was at Westward. I think this might be an update because she's now at a different publication. But it's a great article. Like you said, it explains everything you need to know. So if you are one of those folks that has been like me and Justine and been riding dirty, you can get that figured out so you don't get that ticket. I do just want to say though, I am weary of this process in particular because my brother-in-law got pulled over a couple weeks ago for his expired tags and he got a little roughed up by the police for literally no reason. He was like, I literally got pulled over for my expired tags and they felt the need to pull me out of my car and shove me around a little bit. And my brother-in-law is a pretty timid person and it kind of scared him a little bit. And I think this is the exact concern folks have with the low level offense being the reason you get pulled over. So
Yeah, look at that. Two examples. They were
mm,
like, "Okay, go ahead
hmm
with me." And like I probably put on my a white lady voice. I was like, "Oh, excuse me, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that." I took off my hoop
which shouldn't be
earrings.
what you should have to do
I
to
took off
like
my earrings and changed my voice.
you had to code switch to
Yeah.
get the police to like trust that you said I'm in the process right now.
Yeah, I pulled out my little leather binder folder with my paperwork. But yeah, pull over, somebody who is a person of color and,
Mm-hmm.
or someone who doesn't look like
Mm-hmm.
they're going off to the Capitol for the day, then they're going to get treated differently. Bullshit. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know what would
Yeah.
help if we can make it so much easier for everyone to go to the DMV to get pricing that actually works for people and not make
Mm-hmm.
it such an ordeal, especially in the city of Denver. Denver has a particular issue with this that I don't think other counties necessarily have. So that's something that we need to work on, and it's going to help alleviate that problem for everyone. We'll get more money on it to pay
Mm-hmm.
for our roads, and people aren't going to get
Solve
harassed
some
by the cops.
problems.
Yeah, and
Solve
save
some
you
problems.
$95. And they will ticket you throughout the day. I've gotten multiple in a day for this. They've like
Wow.
given me a ticket and then come back a little bit later after
Rude.
that new meter person. It's like
Rude.
not meter. I have like 2 hour parking or whatever the
Oh, in front of your
permit
house.
parking. So they
Yeah.
come around. So you can't hide your car. You gotta hide your car from the city.
Well, Justine, thank you so much for joining me. This was lovely as always. I love talking to you.
Thank you. Good luck on the roads, everyone.
Oh. Coming up, I'm chatting with Lauren Howe, Program Supervisor for Healthy Food for Denver's Kids, about a voter-approved initiative that has put more than $100 million towards food access and food education for Denver youth since 2019, and how the need is bigger than ever. Stay tuned. Hey, Bree here with Lauren Howe, Program Supervisor for Healthy Food for Denver's Kids. Lauren, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Hi, Bree. Thanks for having me.
So, Lauren, tell us what Healthy Food for Denver's Kids is about and how it came to exist.
Healthy Food for Denver's Kids, or HFDK for short, it exists because no child should have to learn on an empty stomach or miss out on the nutrition they need to thrive. It was created as a result of a resident-led ballot campaign that Denver voters approved in 2018. I created a small fund, about a penny on a $10 purchase from our sales tax, that is providing healthy food access and hands-on food education for Denver's youth through grants to local nonprofits, public schools, and city agencies. It's really about reducing hunger now while also building lifelong healthy habits for Denver's youth. Since the program started, we've given out more than $100 million to over 120 organizations. And one more thing that's important to note is that when voters approved this initiative in 2018, it was for a 10-year term. So it is set to sunset in 2028.
Oh, that's a nice update because I remember voting on that. So it's so cool to hear how much it's done already. But can you paint a picture of food insecurity in Denver right now? Like, how widespread is the problem, especially along with the rising cost of living?
Yes. So unfortunately, food insecurity in Denver is fairly widespread. To dig into the data a little bit deeper, last year, the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment ran a food insecurity survey that went out to more than 3,000 residents across all 11 city council districts. And that data showed that approximately 1 in 3 Denverites, or about 35%, reported cutting the size of or skipping a meal because they didn't have enough money to buy food. This is obviously a huge problem that's only exacerbated because of the rising cost of living. And it has real consequences for children, families, and the wider community.
I have to say, I'm in quite a few neighborhood groups online, and I see requests for support all of the time. So I see the problem anecdotally. I know it's everywhere. Since the program launched in 2019, what has it actually been able to deliver for the community?
Yes, I think it's important for listeners to know that HFDK is really a Denver success story. When voters invested in it, that's really translated into real results. We do a lot of different types of programming that meets diverse needs. So we fund meals and snacks, grocery boxes, connections to federal food programs like SNAP and WIC, and also hands-on learning like school gardens and cooking classes. Since it began, our partners have distributed more than 55 million pounds of food, reaching more than 100,000 Denver families each year. And 99% of clients last year said that this program helped reduce their worry about where their next meal would come from. Our grantee programs are really community-driven, rooted in equity and cultural responsiveness, and we fund all types of things. I wanted to share just a few examples.
Yeah, please do.
For example, Denver Public Library, Denver Botanic Gardens, Denver Public Schools are some of our big grantees that are providing healthy snacks at branch locations, produce boxes to neighbors, and more healthy food in Title I schools.
So I have to be honest, I know our listeners. They're listening to this right now and they're going, I want to support this work. I want to connect with an organization. What can they do if they're listening right now?
Yes, this work truly belongs to community, so excited to engage listeners. The first thing to do would be to visit our website, denvergov.org/HFDK, where you can sign up for email updates, look at our partner organizations and volunteer, share success stories about the program. And then if you're a local organization that does this kind of work, you can also apply for our grants. We expect to release our next funding opportunity later this year. In general, I think addressing childhood hunger takes all of us, and Denver's really shown what's possible when community comes together around this ambitious goal.
Lauren, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Bree.
To learn more about healthy food for Denver's kids and everything the initiative supports, head to denvergov.org/HFDK or by following Denver Public Health and Environment on Instagram at Denver_DDPHE or find DDPHE on Facebook. Thanks for listening to CityCast Denver. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a moment to tell someone with expired tags about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. And hey, thanks to our new neighbor, David D., who just joined our membership program. You can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See ya!